Hey y'all, welcome to this episode of Herbal Medicine 101. Today we're going to talk about something you may not really think of as a medicinal herb, but historically it's been one of the most used medicinal herbs known to man. It is my favorite condiment. It's mustard. It's also one of my favorite leafy green vegetables. But going back back to ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, it was considered more medicinal than it was a condiment for food. Over time, it began to be used interchangeably. In early America, people were still using mustard quite often for medicinal purposes. You, you need to know about this herb because it's very, very helpful. I'm going to get into all the health benefits of it in just a little bit. We're going to talk today about the mustard seed and specifically mustard powder. Very often that was used externally for arthritis, for a plaster on the chest to help break up congestion. It's very warming, very heating. Now, why would you not just use, your old Coleman's mustard or French's mustard or whatever from the grocery store? Well, there are three real reasons to make your own mustard at home, and I'm going to show you here in a minute how to make a prepared mustard. The first is that take French's mustard, grab one off the shelf, grab any brand, and look at the ingredients on the back. A lot of what's in there isn't mustard. The reason it's got that bright yellow color is turmeric. It's got sugar in there. It's got all kinds of stuff in there. If you pick up a Dijon, like a real Dijon, like La Maille, it's probably going to be more like what we're doing today. It's going to be ground mustard seeds, wine, and salt. Way too salty in my taste. And, I'm part French. I love Dijon mustard, but it's too dang salty. The same is true of the best British mustard, Coleman's. I love Coleman's. It's much hotter and more spicy than the Dijon. Way too salty. German mustards, whole grain mustards, they're all going to vary. But see, when you make it yourself at home, you can make mustard to your own taste. That's the first thing. So one, you're getting pure ingredients. You're not getting a bunch of additives, which you'd be amazed, really, all the additives that are in commercial mustard. The next time you're at the store, just pick up a few and kind of compare them. If you see like 3, maybe 4 ingredients, you're good to go. If you see 2 ingredients, just like mustard and vinegar, you're good to go. If you see like 15 ingredients, put it back. Even if it's your favorite hot dog mustard you've been having since you're a kid, it's not good for you. So 2 is you can do it to your taste. You can make it as hot as you want. You can make it as salty as you want. Whatever, right? And 3, you can use it medicinally. Dry mustard, powdered mustard has a lot of uses. So let's get into it. This, you say you're not supposed to show brand names, but I don't care. This is a simply organic ground mustard. You can look at the color of this mustard and it came from white mustard seed. So when I give you the medicinal benefits on this one, I'm going to give you specifically for white mustard seed. Now, if you go out into your garden and harvest mustard, you grow those wonderful greens that are so good for digestion and so nutritious and really my favorite green of all. Edible greens. I just cook them up with a little lard or bacon fat, put some vinegar over them, and I'll eat them by the pound. I love mustard greens. But if you harvest that, you're probably going to get brown mustard seeds. Brown mustard seeds are a little hotter, and I actually like them better. I will grind those myself. Now, if you go out and do wild mustard, and I've done shows on wild mustard before, podcasts, I haven't done a video yet. I probably ought to. That's probably going to be black mustard seed. That's the strongest, it's the most pungent of all. And if you can handle the heat, like if you like wasabi, you would love that. And really, they used to say that true British mustard had to be made from brown or black mustard seed. I don't think that's the case anymore. The French usually do use the white mustard seed, sometimes the brown. In German mustards, usually it's going to be brown or white. Very few people use that black seed because it is so strong. So let's look at this. It's a very fine powder. Take the sprinkler top off. There we go. And I don't have much of a workspace today. It's raining like crazy, and this is the only place I could find good light. So I'm going to be picking things up and putting them down. I'm going to put we'll start with 2 teaspoons of this into this little glass ramekin. So let me go ahead and do that. Oh, okay, my spoon's too big. I'll just sprinkle it into the spoon. There we go. That's about 1. That's about, there we go. A little bit more than, that's 2.5. 2.5 teaspoons, I think that's about right. To start with, because we're going to adjust the taste. Now I'm just going to get rid of the clumps. And now you have to hydrate this with something. You can use water. Very simple. A lot of people take Coleman's mustard powder and just add water to it. That's a very traditional English mustard. You can add water and a little vinegar to it. That's even probably a little more traditional English mustard. Last time I made a batch, I did water, just a little. Just you're talking just like a spoonful, well, teaspoonful of water to about, I didn't even start with a half teaspoon and just start mixing it together. A little bit of salt, and I did a little bit of vinegar. It just kind of brings out really the flavor of the mustard a little more to have some acidity in there. And I did a little horseradish because I wanted it extra hot. It's being white mustard, it's not quite as hot as I like, so I added a spoonful of just grated horseradish. And man, that mustard packed a punch. It was really good. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to do sort of French style mustard. I have some white wine. I'm just going to drizzle a little in here. There we go. And we'll just start mixing this up. Now, one thing about working with the mustard powder is when you first bring it together, the mustard powder, the grains here, are not going to be fully hydrated. As they soak up the wine, and I probably got about a teaspoon and a half in here right now. As it soaks up the wine, it's going to get to more of that mustard paste texture. That's when the heat of the mustard's really going to start to come out. When it's dry, you're not really picking up the heat of the mustard flavor on your tongue. So we always want to keep into account that this mustard is going to be hotter an hour from now than it is right now. It's a little thin, but that will soak in. I think that's going to be exactly the right amount of liquid. So that means I get to drink some wine. The benefits of making your own mustard again. That's just a little Sauvignon Blanc. You use Chardonnay, you can use whatever you want. Of course you could use a red wine, but that's going to give you a weird colored mustard. This is very traditional in color. Let's get a little salt in there. Set this down again. I actually have some blessed salt. If you're Catholic, you know what this is all about. You can put this in your food and bless your food with it. And I like to use it. It's a very pure sea salt. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit in my hand. You're not going to want a lot of salt, okay? I've got, at least to my taste, okay, that's way too much. All right, so I've got probably a quarter teaspoon of salt in my hand, of which I'm going to put in about an eighth. Stir that in and taste and see if it needs any more. I don't think it will. There we go. Let's go taste. Salt's perfect, yeah. Barely getting any heat off of that. I never waste anything, especially salt. Salt used to be one of the most expensive substances on the face of the earth. It is still absolutely essential for life. And this is blessed salt, so it's particularly special salt. And this is actually where the tradition of people taking a pinch of salt and throwing it over their shoulder comes from. It's ancient people thought it would keep evil spirits away. Whether it does or not, I have no idea, but that is blessed by a priest. So I use it. I use it in the traditional Catholic way. All right. Let's see. As you can see, it's no longer soupy. It's no longer thin. It's now a very good mustard texture. I'm going to add one more thing. That's nice. Right now, that's nice. Okay, that is like a really high quality Dijon mustard. I would absolutely slap that on, anything from a hot dog to a little steak pan cooked in some cream sauce. I cannot remember the exact, what is the name of that one? It's a traditional French dish. Anyway, cream and mustard sauce. It's absolutely delicious with some shallots. I've got a pinch of tarragon. It's so aromatic. I love the smell of tarragon. One of my friends on X, on Twitter, whatever they call it now, X, he hates tarragon. He loves the smell. He likes the taste, but for some reason it triggers like almost a gag reflex. You got to remember, people respond differently to different herbs. I mean, that's one of those, what would you say, is that physiological? Is it psychological? Did he have some food poisoning once and that was an herb that had been included in the food, so now he associates it with something nauseous. I don't know. So always remember, not everyone may share your taste. I can tell you, for non-mustard aficionados, especially for kids, this may be a little bit hotter than they're going to be able to tolerate as it hydrates, as that wine gets in there. Let me get one more taste. With the tarragon. Okay, now that's fantastic. Now, what did I use? I used about 2.5 teaspoons of mustard powder. Any brand you like is good. Make sure it's a good quality brand. This is an organic brand. I do prefer to grow it myself or Wild Harvest. You're going to get different flavors. You're going to get more pungency when you do that. But this is good. This cost me, I'm going to say, about $2.50. And it was a 2.47 ounce jar. I have already made 2 good sized batches of mustard off of this. This was a small one. Last time I probably did 2 or 3 times as much. And I'm only down to this point, so I can easily make, let's see, think about the size of a mustard jar. Your French's mustard jar, or Coleman's, whatever you like. Golden's, whatever your favorite is. A little thing of Dijon, or what was it, Grey Poupon. I loved Grey Poupon as a kid. This tastes a lot like Grey Poupon, actually, what I just made. If you like that flavor, that more Dijon flavor. But it's got a little more of a kick to it. Definitely more heat. So think about a little mustard jar. I'm thinking this would make 5 at least jars of mustard for about $2.50. I put in there probably less than 5 cents worth of wine. A pinch of tarragon that I don't even know if I could even quantify the price of that, maybe a penny or 2. And just whatever salt you like. I wouldn't use an iodized salt. Sea salt, this blessed salt I get from, where did I get this one from? This was from the Association of the Miraculous Metal, one of my favorite religious associations. I'm a strong believer in the miraculous metal. And this is, today is the feast day of Mary, Mother of the Church. So that was another reason I thought this would be appropriate. You know, this doesn't cost very much, maybe $5, you know, keep around, or use whatever salt you like. Anyway, a good sea salt, a good like Himalayan rock salt or something, whatever you like, you know. It could just be old plain Morton salt. Just I'd stay away from the iodized stuff because it's gonna, you're gonna get that taste, that metallic taste of the iodine. It's kind of metallic to me. So I've got in this mustard, you know, 30 cents, maybe 50 cents. And if you went to a specialty shop, you know, maybe twice as much of this amount would cost you easily $10. So you can save a lot of money if you make your own mustard. So that's another, that's the 5th reason. And man, I mean, this would be, I literally, you know, I've got some ham in the freezer. Yeah. I'm going to go defrost that ham and probably fry it up and just dip in the mustard and eat it. Hot dog would be ideal right now, but I'm not going out in this nasty weather to get hot dogs, you know, even if it is Memorial Day. But yeah, and the smell of this is incredible. I'm getting that mustard smell, I'm getting the tarragon, a little bit of wine. My mouth is literally watering right now. And that is one of the medicinal qualities of mustard. Let me give you the full rundown. Now, this is going to be similar for brown and white mustard, if not identical. But you got to remember, you're talking degrees of pungency. So just look at Plants for Future. Says the seed is antibacterial. It's antifungal. It is an appetizer. That's what I'm saying. My mouth is watering, and it's actually stimulating my appetite. It's making me hungry as we speak. It's carminative, which means helps settle the stomach, get rid of gas on the stomach and such. Diaphoretic. It can help break a fever. Now, normally, while it is going to have some diaphoretic properties taken internally, that's more used externally. If you think about it, mustard has that heating quality, and it does so topically. When you put it like a plaster on your chest, the way people used to do, they just take that mustard powder, mix it with some water, put it on the chest, maybe mix it with some lard or something, you know, so it wouldn't dry out as easily, or goose fat used to be very common. Smear it on the chest, cover it in usually paper, or before they had like brown paper bags and such, they'd use just like a muslin cloth or something. And that actually does start to increase the body temperature. Also breaks up congestion in the lungs, and it helps break a fever. It's bringing, especially if you cover up with a couple of blankets after that, it's bringing the body temperature up to the point where the fever breaks. you sweat, you feel better. And that's part of your immune response to help battle bacteria and viruses. So diuretic, it can helps remove excess fluid from the body. Digestive, it helps with digestion. That's why really mustard began to be used as a condiment. People before the age of refrigeration and such often had meat that was a little spoiled, and mustard would help them digest that meat without getting sick. Now, on the flip side, it's also emetic. Emetic makes you throw up. How is that? It's another reason to keep powdered mustard on hand as opposed to just the condiment. Say you or your kid or somebody eats something that's poisonous. They got to get it out of their system real quick. Hot water, spoonful or so, drink it down, you're going to throw up almost immediately. This was what people used before they had Ipecac, and whatever they're using now that's replaced Ipecac. Ipecac is really more of a South American herb that became the most popular emetic until very recently when they pulled it from the shelf. But you still need something to make you throw up when you got to throw up. And before then, mustard powder was the predominant one. Let's see, rubefacient. That means when you take that mustard powder, when you combine it with water or whatever you want to combine it with, put it on your skin, it's going to redden and warm that area. So, of course, it's used for arthritis, stiff muscles, aching joints, anything along those lines, bruising. Very good. It's increasing the circulation to that area. It's stimulant. That's more of an appetite stimulant, but you're also getting that punch of flavor. It'll wake you up. The seed, let's see. The cathartic action of the seed is due to the hydrogen sulfide in it. Again, we're really talking more the emetic throwing up kind of thing there. It mentions that in China it's used in the treatment of cough with profuse phlegm and tuberculosis and pleurisy, and that's both internally and externally. They said the seed is seldom used internally as medicine in the West, externally usually made into mustard plasters using the ground seed, poultices, or added to bath water. I forgot to mention that one. Used in the treatment of respiratory infections, arthritic joints, chilblains, skin eruptions, etc. At a ratio of 1 to 3, the seed has an inhibitory action on the growth of fungus. Now, however, care should be caused in using the remedy because it can irritate the skin and the mucous membranes. You do not want to get some of this up your nose, trust me. Real bad. You're going to be in bad shape. So you don't want to use so much of this or leave it on for so long that it could actually blister the skin, which it actually can. Anyway, wonderful stuff. I love mustard. My heritage is basically a mix of Irish and English and French and maybe a little German back there somewhere. And there's only about one thing all those nations agree on, and that's the importance of good quality mustard. And now you see that it's soaked in that wine, and it's the perfect texture to put on a hot dog or something. I'm starting to get the heat. That tarragon is just so floral in there. Oh, that's fantastic. And it's got that slight bitterness from using the wine that you get in a Dijon mustard. It's got a good pungent heat that is really lacking in nearly every commercial Dijon. In small batches, they'll do that, but this is really nice. And I mean, I dare say you're not going to buy mustard this quality in a store, and it's going to cost you like less than 50 cents to make. And it has medicinal values. So remember, y'all, what was it Hippocrates said? Let food be your medicine and medicine be thy food. And this is a great way to get a lot of good flavor and medicinal benefits. That is fantastic. I mean, you have to go bake some pretzels. Absolutely. I gotta go make some soft pretzels and fry up some ham and maybe double up this batch and just go to town with it for the rest of the day because this is just making my mouth just water. I love this stuff. All right, y'all. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.